and I'm pleased to have the opportunity to talk with you today about matters of some importance, I think. I'm a retired psychologist, and I've worked in community agencies that offer direct services to the public. I provided individual psychotherapy, couples therapy, and group therapy to those needing help in making their lives work better. My religious background is a bit unusual. I was not raised in any church, and my parents were mystics. Mystics are the people who believe they do not need a church, but they actively engage in meditation to get where they're going. I had a bit of tutoring on how to meditate, but I can't swear that I do it properly. I simply do what works for me. The practice has been valuable in helping me to settle down, reevaluate my situation and something. The principal focus of my meditation has been a better perspective on my own life. I'll be offering some quotations as we go along this morning. And here is the first one. Regarding the Sandwich Islands, how sad it is to think of the multitude who have gone to their graves in this beautiful island and never knew there was a hell. Mark Twain. Sad state of affairs for the poor people. As you know, UU is one church with many paths. Even if there were a creed, some might choose their own course anyway. What qualifies me to offer views on religious matters? First, I'm a skeptic, not a believer. I think that's qualification enough, frankly. I bring what I believe to be important matters to share with you. I have a background in behavioral science and research, as well as As we warm up to today's topic, let me clarify the meaning of the title. The problem of God simply means I wish to discuss the matter of God. As it turns out, I believe there are serious problems with the idea of God, as we will see moving forward in this discussion. Quotations. Here are some additional quotes intended to offer perspective on what I have to say. Doubt everything. Find your own light. The Buddha. And if there were a God, I think it unlikely he would have such uneasy vanity as to be offended by those who doubt his existence. Bertrand Russell. God's always behaved like the people who created them. Nora, Nell, Hurston. We need to recognize that we are talking about a believed phenomena, not a proven fact. The idea of God is part of our cultural experience. Many of the world's religions have it, but this fact doesn't make the concept of God valid, accurate, or true. Another quote. Men are born ignorant, not stupid. They are made stupid by education. I would never die for my beliefs because they might be wrong. The fact that an opinion has been widely held is no evidence whatever that it is not utterly absurd. Bertrand Russell. I'm hoping what I have to say will be sufficiently brief that we may all be able to discuss confusions, objections, alternative ideas, and alternative lines of argument. That is, I'd like to talk with you. Is the word God an alternative name for some of the powers of nature, like gravity, the rising and setting sun, the planet, the plants and animals, advanced life, and all the rest of what makes up our world? No, I think it's much more. Some might argue God is an all-perfect being controlling events in the world. But this notion sounds overly inclusive to me and is not anything I would care to endorse. Juxtaposed to God, we have hell and damnation, or eternal damnation, if you prefer. Combined, these notions suggest that everything we do while we're alive is tallied up and meted out some sort of rough justice that puts us either in the heavenly place or the hellacious one. The problem is, I just don't believe such places as heaven or hell even exist or ever existed, for that matter. It is thought by others that these ideas had no grasp of, these authors had no grasp of the challenges of living and making the best of what we have. Credit James Lindsay for that. He has a couple of books. Let's consider some arguments for the existence of God and look at how they stand up against the arguments offered by others. It's possible to imagine a perfect being. Such a being could not be fully perfect unless it existed and it was known to humankind. Objection. Imagined events or objects do not necessarily exist. We can't imagine things into existence. Everything that exists must have a cause. Therefore, there must be a designer, and that is God, the first cause. Objection. Principles of evolution provide multiple explanations of apparent design quirks. Experiential. Many people claim to have personal religious experiences of God. And of course, the objection is we cannot assume that objects or events found in the mental experience have any reality. Such experiences cannot be repeated, tested, or publicly verified. Mystical and other experiences cannot be explained by external causes. Pragmatic. Human societies require ethics to survive. That is, if people don't have some sense of propriety, it all goes haywire. Ethics are more effectively enforced if people fear God and hell and hope for heaven. And the citation for that is The Origin of Ethical Systems. Objections, usefulness, does not validate truth or accuracy. In any case, many societies have thrived without these beliefs, while crime has thrived in theistic societies believing in heaven or hell. A summary of the arguments, the argument of evil, of pain, of injustice, of multiplicity, and of simplicity. Another quote, I believe in God, only I spell it N-A-T-U-R-E, Frank Lloyd Wright. Which is it? Is man one of God's blunders, or is God one of man's? Friedrich Nietzsche. Gods are fragile things. They may be killed by a whiff of science, a dose of common sense. Chapman Cohen. Religion consists of a set of things which the average man thinks he believes and wishes he was certain of. Mark Twain. Because of the high-level attention focused on God, relationships with our peers, families, and friends may suffer. That is too much focus, and we lose the real stuff of our lives. But who are our peers? The people next to you, in front of you, behind you, all around you are our peers. They are thinking, feeling people who also have ideas and concerns and are part of the beloved community. Historical focus on God likely distracts us from the most thoughtful people in our midst. They are UUs who have ideas, concerns, questions, alternative frames of reference. In short, they are valuable sources of second opinions, new alternatives, prompts to help formulate ideas when we stumble, and care and emotional support when needed. Here's how the world works for me. I personally see God as an aspiration, an ideal in the hope for existence, an affirmation, a statement of kindness and goodness, a wish or entreatment,